Guys, welcome to the locked in routine. The routine to maximize productivity and just feel as alive and as energized as possible on a daily basis. Okay? Quick disclaimer, I want you to take useful parts of this and implement it into your routine. Don't drastically do everything I do because my sole focus is growing my business. I don't have children, I don't have a mortgage. I live at home. Health is my job. Okay? So don't think like, oh my God, I'm not doing any of this. I'm so screwed. It's very much, I've picked up this stuff through years of trying different things. This is my current routine. It might evolve in the future. I'm completely open to that. And I want you guys to see it in the same way. It's not an all or nothing. Take the useful bits that sound good to you. Definitely ask me lots of questions on it. Like I said, note down any questions you have and then we'll run through those at the end. All right, so nutrition, lifestyle, what I eat and how I live on a daily basis. So my initial focus point is state, how I'm showing up at the beginning of the day, because it carries on through to the rest of the day like you wouldn't imagine. So most people start their days off with total and utter chaos. I'm not even exaggerating here. Waking up to an alarm before their body is fully rested, picking up a phone and looking at short form content, scrolling through, and it's driving your mood up and down, immediately caffeinating, first thing going downstairs, caffeinating, spiking cortisol, and then because of a poor sleep hygiene, poor nutrition the day before, waking up, craving sugar, wanting instant energy, therefore going for something carb rich like cereal or toast, which spikes the blood sugar and then causes a crash afterwards as the insulin removes it out of the blood sugar because elevated blood sugar is toxic, and that's why you feel that crash. So this is how most people start their days off. There's studies on the most popular breakfasts, there's studies on how much people sleep, and there's a statistic, and it's quite funny being British. I think it's 66% of Brits feel knackered most of the time. And I believe that a large root of that is how they start their day off. Utter chaos, waking up, stress, because cortisol wakes you up, so you're like, and then immediately phone, radio on, caffeinating, sugar, short form content. It's emotional turmoil to start the day off, and it's very unnatural. It's very far from what we've evolved from doing. So that's not how you do it. Let me give you my approach, which is more zen-like and rooted in starting the day off in a powerful way. So my thing, I wake up without an alarm so that I'm calm and I'm fully rested, and my body decides to wake me up when I've had adequate rest. Okay, I haven't used an alarm in like 12 months. Of course, I've got my own business. I can wake up when I want. I don't have a job or anything like that. But guys, you don't need an alarm. Like, try it a couple of nights and go to bed earlier, and your schedule and your sleep pattern will readapt. If you need to be up for 7 a.m., you can very, very much naturally wake up at 7 a.m. Okay, so anyway, let's go back into the schedule because that's what this is about today. So waking up without an alarm, fully rested. No like, yeah? Stepping outside and hydrating with electrolytes. So immediate sun exposure by stepping outside. So I'm getting sun on my eyes. Sun is energy. Sun is the giver of life. Okay? Sun is essential. So immediately, straight outside, sun exposure. You can go for a walk if you want, you can move. I don't really do that, I like to work a bit sooner. So I just stand outside and I have a drink. And I use electrolytes to do that. I use this brand here, Elite, Body Bio Elite. It's just electrolytes, it hasn't got any garbage in it, no sugars or anything like that. It's just sodium, potassium and magnesium. So I have that in the morning. I then brush teeth and I fill out a reflective personal scorecard, which gives me a quick win to start the day. And it gives me some direction and it sets the tone. It's a reflective start. It's calm. I'm looking at how my day went yesterday and I'm aligned with what I want to get out of my day today. Takes just 2 minutes. Absolute game changer. Rather than diving straight into your day through starting with chaos, starting not necessarily more slowly, but more intentionally, quick reflection, and I get that quick win. And then I read, and I step back outside for that. Sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes 20 minutes. It depends on the schedule, how late I've woken up, etc., and what I have on in the day. But again, it's a quick win. It's calming. It's a form of meditation. I actually used to meditate in the mornings, which is freaking powerful, by the way, guys, in calming your state down and allowing you to make better, more logical decisions. But the reading gives me that meditative elixir, but also knowledge. I mean, think about what a book is. It's someone's life lessons distilled into the most concise form possible and most engaging form possible. You can learn a lot just from reading. And this is something I wanted to do. And I said, I'm going to read in the evenings before bed and stuff like that. It didn't happen, so I brought it to the morning. Even though it's not a priority to read as much as possible, it's growing the business, that's the priority. But it's very powerful to move stuff to the morning to ensure you get them done. Okay? So I'm reading and I'm back outside. And there's sun on my face, especially right now in the UK. I'm milking that as much as possible because we don't get it so much. Top up on vitamin D, top up on sunlight, guys, right now, because we have dark autumns and winters, so now it's really important to get outside as much as you can. After reading, write my to-do list, and then I start working. That's it. Very simple, repetitive. I do the same thing each morning. It works for me, and I look forward to it. Okay? So that's my approach, and it's a lot more calming, and it has a lot more direction. If you wake up and go straight into action, your cortisol is at its peak because you've just woken up, which is, cortisol wakes you up. And if you dive straight into stuff, straight into high stimulating things, straight into coffee, straight into your phone, straight into arguing with your partner or whatever it is, you're going to start a domino effect of emotionally driven decisions. Whereas if you start the day in a calm state and a more intentional state, and you stack up a couple of quick wins, that means something to you. So just for reference, guys, reading, for example, is something that I want to incorporate more in my life. One of yours might be eating healthy. So it would be in the morning, you can put 20 minutes aside to do a bit of meal prep, and then that's your win. So you can adapt it to what you're after. But I've started days with no direction and gone straight into it, thinking, you got to grind hard, you got to get stuff done, you got to tick off the to-do list. But really, it's just a cascade of emotional turmoil and directionless and not productive, and you go to bed not feeling good about it. So that's the morning approach. Now, nutrition, where stuff gets pretty interesting. So this is my personal approach right now. I don't have much of an appetite in the morning, so I intermittent fast. If you guys don't know what that means, it means skipping breakfast. So my first meal is around 2 p.m. I don't eat anything in the morning time. If I need something though, just to show you how my schedule is adaptive to what my body's asking for and what it needs, I have a piece of fruit. Because typically in the morning, a lot of people don't need food in the morning. It depends how much you've eaten the night before, but it often needs hydration. And if I'm not craving like meat or a proper meal, I'll just have a piece of fruit because I'm probably a bit dehydrated. And fruit tastes great, good source of carbohydrates. It's also very hydrating, especially watery fruits. Oranges, watermelons, the juicier kind. So I might have a piece of fruit. Then around 90 minutes into the day, I will have a coffee. But I don't have it right away. I allow myself to wake up. I allow myself to be calm before dialing up the adrenaline. Okay? So I then have another 3 to 4 coffees until about 2 p.m. So I've been up in the caffeine recently and it's been super effective. Like I said, my goal right now is to get as much shit done as possible, to grow the business as quickly as possible. So I am loading up on the coffees at the moment. And then the first meal is around 2 p.m. And the first meal is a higher carb, higher fat meal. And if you guys came to the training 2 times ago where I spoke about optimizing energy, you will know that higher fat, higher protein is going to give you more stable energy. And the reason why a lot of people have the afternoon crash or they crash after their breakfast is because they go for a high carb, i.e. high sugar breakfast, quick release of energy, and they crash right after. So my first meal is a small serving of fatty red meat, 1 to 2 eggs, and sometimes a little bit of liver and cheese. And then if I wanted, a piece of fruit. Like I said, like if I want a bit of hydration, I'll have a piece of fruit. These are the most nutrient dense foods, so I get my nutrition requirements, and just having a small helping helps satisfy hunger while still feeling quite light and sharp. It's not a big meal where, you know, you crash right after and you can't do anything and your day's over at 2 p.m. It's a meal that still allows me to stay sharp, but it satisfies what I actually need. You know when you haven't eaten for a while and your brain starts slowing down and you just can't think as quickly and you just need some food? This satisfies that. It gets the brain firing again. It gives the body what it's after, but it doesn't give that slog. So I have 0 afternoon crash due to high fat, which gives stable energy, and low carbs. Like the only carbs would come from fruit, right? But it has a different function of hydrating me. So I'm fine to have some carbs there. All right. And then I stay fasted after that meal. If needed, I will have something quick and hydrating, like kefir, liquid drink. It's rich in calcium. But again, it's just if my body asks for it. A lot of the time I don't have anything until the evening time, but sometimes I do want something and I'll grab that on the go. Work continues until 7 to 8 p.m. and then dinner is a feast. So it's going to be a large helping of meat or fish, sometimes some starch, which is your potatoes, your rice, stuff like that, like the typical carb source people would eat with their dinner, but only if I fancy it and if my body's asking for it. When you eat super clean and you eliminate all the garbage, and you guys might be noticing this if you've been in the program a bit longer, you can start to listen to your own body's senses of what it needs, and it guides you. Just like every animal in the wild, right? They don't have MyFitnessPal, they don't have dietitians, but they're able to survive and thrive and reproduce, right? It's because they're eating the right diet, their body's biochemically healthy, and they're able to listen to their senses on what they need. For me, I'm very much able to act on what I'm actually craving, because I only crave real foods, and you'll notice that when you cut the crap out of your diet gradually, your senses will work on your side, and instead of craving constant junk, you'll be craving real food, and it's going to be what your body actually needs, because it's telling you, I want this because I'm dehydrated, I want fruit to hydrate me. Or let's say you've gone to the gym yesterday and hit a big workout, you're probably going to crave some meat, some protein, because it's protein builds tissue, right? Repair. So you'll notice these things, and it's really, really interesting. And then after I ate that meal, potentially yogurt after with a small serving of berries. Usually if I haven't had kefir, I might fancy a bit of yogurt after. I like a bit of dairy. And then if I have a meal out, I do go for meals out sometimes. Number one choice is a steakhouse. Yes, it's the most expensive, but health is wealth. Health is everything, especially for me. And I'll happily pay the premium to get something that increases my health and makes me feel better after than worse. And then the second choice is like a feast of Greek or Turkish, right? Mediterranean grilled food or slow cooked food. So let me give you some examples of what this actually looks like. So the first meal that I touched on there, the small serving of fatty red meat, 1 to 2 eggs and cheese, the high fat meal. This is what it could look like. So this is actually my brother's one. He's very into like aesthetics and stuff like that, so it's why it looks so beautiful. Mine almost never looks like this. I very much cook it up and eat. But this is more than I'd normally have. I'd probably have like half of this. So a couple of, this is just minced beef, squash in the pan. A couple of little bits of cheese, 1 or 2 eggs, maybe some mango, maybe some kiwi if I want the hydration. But these items here are the main ones, and then perhaps some kefir with it. Here's another example. We had a barbecue the day before, and then for lunch, I had some pieces of meat and then a bit of fruit. It's what I wanted. It's what my body asked for. You might think, oh, that doesn't look like a meal. The notion of meals is something that's been put upon us. And it's not actually, like, when you eat right and you ditch the crap, you sense what your body is actually asking for. And that's what my body was asking for. It wanted some hydration, and it wanted good source of fatty protein, which is full of nutrients. And just to go into why I eat, how I eat, and the food choices. So I go for the most nutrient dense foods, like I said there, because it's gonna satisfy the body, right? When your body asks for food, when you have hunger signals, it's not asking for calories, it's asking for nutrients. And the reason why people get big and gain weight is because they keep putting the wrong foods in, so that your body continues asking for more foods because it hasn't been given what it actually asked for. But if you give it nutrient dense foods, fatty red meat, eggs, liver, stuff like that as the staple, you're full for fucking hours. Like, I'll have my first meal at 2 p.m. and then I don't need to think about food for hours and hours. Unless I've been maybe more active in the day, I've been outside more, and I want a bit of hydration, so I'll have something like kefir. But just to put into perspective what this looks like, this is a 100-gram serving of an egg, which is about 1.5 eggs. This is every nutrient, every micronutrient your body needs. I don't want to get too in the weeds with it, but 1.5 eggs contains every single micronutrient your body needs to varying degrees. But if you look at these statistics, if you multiply this by like 3 and have, what's that, 4.5 eggs. So let's say 4 eggs. No. Yeah, let's just round it to 3. Let's just say 4.5, and you can round that up to 5 or round it down to 4. But you can do the maths on these. You're getting the majority of your requirements just from the 4 eggs alone. It's super, super powerful. And this is the secret to satiation. Nutrient density. It's a secret to enjoying how you eat while staying in killer shape. Because everyone likes eggs. Everyone likes, well, unless you're a vegetarian, everyone likes red meat. And red meat has a juicy steak, right? It's the most expensive, most popular delicacy, super, super nutrient dense. You eat it, you're giving your body what it needs, you're gonna be full for hours. Okay, so this really is a secret to fat loss, guys. And me, I like to stay lean, but also healthy and be able to function as well as possible. And if you are functioning as well as possible, your body's not gonna let you get out of shape because your hunger signals are gonna be working correctly. All right. Okay, I will cover. Yeah, I'll go through a bit more, and then make notes if you're having any questions, guys, and we'll do questions in like 10 minutes. So where are we at now? So that's the lunch, nutrient dense, and guys, like, if you are going to adopt this, you haven't got to be super restricted to it. You can vary it. You can have your favorite protein source, right? You can have pork there instead of red meat. If you're maybe on more of a budget, you can have chicken, cup of eggs, cheese. Like, they have pretty similar nutrient profile. Similar foods have similar nutrient profile. But this is me just trying to optimize. Kefir, good drink, hydrating, good protein, good fats, good calcium. Go for the Polish brands that you get in the like international food shops because they're way cheaper than the marketed ones. So that's a bit of sauce for you there. And then I'll give you an example of dinner. So usually a large serving of meat or fish, and sometimes some starch if my body fancies it. And this is an example of a meal I had a few weeks ago. Just so you can see what it looks like. Oh, you don't want to play? Okay, well, it was like 3 eggs, steak, Greek salad, and a little something else. But pretty much this. It was a large serving of meat or fish, a little bit of starch. Oh yeah, sweet potatoes with some cheese on top. Okay, cool. You might notice I'm repeating myself with the foods I eat, but I do literally eat 5, 6, 7 types of foods on repeat. Okay? I mean, what animal has a varied diet? Have you thought about that before? Okay. Meals out. Told you my choices there. These are some examples. This is in Cyprus. Lamb, potatoes, Greek salad. This was in Colombia. Burger, cheese, bacon, salad, couple potatoes, didn't have the sauce. Every meal can be healthy. I'm showing you the meals out because a lot of people let it trip them up. But if you make the right choices and you stick by these principles, you can eat out as much as you want whilst getting in shape. And like, I'm telling you, slow cooked, delicious lamb, like, it's nicer than going out for some junk food. Like, it really is. It's gets your juices going. So it also solves the argument of eating healthy doesn't taste good. It's like, no, you're just not eating healthy. If you're eating dry chicken and salad leaves, like, that's not actually that nutrient dense. Whereas if you were to have some fatty red meat or even some fatty chicken, it's got more vitamins in and it's more nutrient dense, and therefore it tastes better, and therefore it satisfies us better. The taste thing, because our senses can sense it's more nutrient dense. How did we get by in the wild? Alright? So that's that, and then I'll dive into the bedtime routine because that's part of how I live. We start the day off right, we end the day right as well. So work's wrapped up at around 8 p.m. Don't recommend working past that time, guys. David, I know you're freaking non-stop, but I've tested a few different things, and this is my thing. I put blue light blockers on straight after work's wrapped up. I'm in bed by 10, light reduced to a lamp ASAP. So let's say like I'm in my bedroom from 9. I'm gonna shut off the main lights and just put a small lamp on. And you're gonna find that you become drowsy more quickly and you fall asleep more quickly. And when you're ready for bed, you wanna get to bed, you wanna get to sleep. So this is a small optimization you can make. I then put a film on, wearing my blue light blockers, until I shut down. Usually around 20 to 30 minutes in, I'm just passed out. And I enjoy good films, and it's a nice way to end the day, and it's something to look forward to. It's quite nice. Few things that definitely don't work for me. No phone with me in my room. If I start scrolling, I'm up for at least another hour and a half, and it just ruins the next day. I've also tried YouTube before bed, but I find that's like super stimulating and it keeps me up. Whereas a film, especially an old film like a classic, it's slightly slower. It does give you that fix that you want at the end of the day, especially after a hard day of work. It gives you that stimulation, that, nice film, relaxing, that chill vibe. But it's not super stimulating where it keeps you up. I was watching Squid Game, the final season, and the second episode, I don't want to spoil it at all, but it was just really heavy emotionally. Like, some crazy shit happened in that episode, and I was like, nah, I'm not going to finish this series because it's just like, I don't want to be putting that in my head and then sleep because it's going to affect me. It's a negative thing, so that's something to consider as well. This is the brand I use of blue light blockers, 10 quid off Amazon Prime, get them tomorrow if you'd like, guys. Zif's Vision, yeah, they do the job. They do the job. If you're having any challenges getting your day-to-day tasks done, the to-do list is stacking up and things are just taking longer than you'd like them to, definitely lock in for this one. So this is how I maximize my time to get more done in the day. So the start is a powerful to-do list. Write a to-do list every single day. It gives you direction, it gives you certainty, you're not guessing, you're not leaving shit to chance. So that's the first thing, a to-do list. And let me tell you how I structure mine out. And I've tried several things. I've tried productivity apps, I've tried digital lists. My favorite thing to do is get a nice notebook and write down my to-do list every morning. So let me give you the setup for this. You give yourself 5 or 6 things to do in a list format. You then start with the most painful or important task. The task you feel the most resistance to. Oh, I don't really want to do that, but I need to do it. That's the one you start with, right? After your morning routine, of course. So it might be going to the gym, it might be meal prepping, it might be having a hard conversation, sending an email, it might be a mundane task. Get that done first, all right? Work through the list during the day. This is the key thing, one task at a time. There's studies on this, and it actually uses up more energy when you bounce from task to task. It makes you more tired, it fucks up your brain and it tricks your brain, and it takes you longer to get stuff done. So pick a task and don't move on to the next one until that's done. And then you add a distractions section below for thoughts that pop up during another task. So let me tell you what that looks like. I appreciate the distractions thing might be confusing at this point. So I literally recorded this earlier, okay? And I'll play the video right now, but I'll show you what the list looks like. So this is the date, and those are the tasks. Cross them when they're done. And then the distractions is, let's say I'm doing a task. So let's say I'm doing checkups and I'm working on that. If I have something that pops in my mind that I need to do, I will then write it in the distractions and then I'll go straight back to checkups. I won't move from checkups to do that other thing. I will write that down in the distractions and then I'll put in a separate time to do it. I will finish the current task at hand. This is why people don't get shit done. They move from task to task and they don't finish the first thing. So the distractions thing is really powerful and it's a good discipline to just note down, okay, cool, that I'm going to write that down, I've made it real, and I'm going to deal with it later. And typically, this stuff in the distractions list, it goes on to tomorrow's to-do list, and then I make sure I get it done then. So that's the big thing. A few tasks that's realistic for you to get done. A distraction section. When something pops in your mind, because it freaking will, and it's important, note it down. Okay? So yeah. Sorry, yeah, that first one was today, the 14th.
So it's still, it's still very much out.
And yeah, I do this every day religiously. I write down the task, write down the distractions, and we're getting everything done at this point. Very simple. This is the best way to do it. I've tried so many ways, guys. Getting business stuff done, getting chores done, daily errands, do it this way. But start with getting yourself a decent notebook. It makes it a lot more enjoyable. Next productivity tool is Google Calendar. You are missing out if you're not using this. It allows all of your calls, tasks, events to be in one place. My personal favorite use for it is non-negotiables. Tasks that need to get done regardless of how I'm feeling or regardless of what I've got going on in the day. Okay? So whatever I feel loads of friction towards doing, I chuck in the calendar. For me in recent months, it's been content creation. And I use Google Calendar to set up a non-negotiable cadence around that. So content's broken into different things: ideation, scripting, filming, ideation, scripting, whatever. That's it. It's those three things. And I've got this in my calendar now, and this is on repeat. You could set, you can make it repeat every week on certain days. So this is how I start every Sunday, every Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, every Thursday. And it's there and it's real. Okay? Let's say your main challenge right now is meal prepping or eating healthy meals consistently. You can put it in every Sunday for 2 hours. I'm going to prep my meals for the next 3 days. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to meal prep again in the morning. Or you just put a specific time block in the day to get it done. And this just works really well for me. And Google Calendar, so easy to use. If you use Apple Calendar, fuck that, move to Google Calendar. It's way better. I've tried them both. Yes, it relies on self-accountability to do this shit, but writing it out and seeing it each day makes it more real than just saying you'll do it and leave it to chance. So I like using Google Calendar for specific non-negotiables. You can see there's a lot of white space in the calendar. I don't do too many time blocks. I prefer to just have the tasks written down and I work through each task one at a time. Sometimes I do time blocks, but yeah, this is the main discipline. And then, the final one, and this is the kicker for most people. This is why people have garbage productivity and garbage focus. Social media, screen time. Let me put this into perspective for you, how bad screen time is looking for the majority of us. So this is an 18-year-old's 90-year life expectancy. And this is what he's going to spend his time doing. So he's going to spend 288 months sleeping, 128 months school, working, going to the office, that stuff, 18 months driving, 36 months cooking and eating, 36 months chores and errands, 27 months hygiene, toilet, all that stuff, and then 334 months of free time. So that is 28 years. Assuming we all live to 90, we have 28 years of free time in our entire lifetime. Now, based on the stats of the average user on social media, they are going to spend 312 of those 334 months on social media scrolling. That is all of their free time. And for you guys being older than 18, that's even less. That's chunked right down. The average 18-year-old is predicted to spend more than 90% of the 28 years free time scrolling. Time isn't just money, guys. It's everything. You might not realize it. You might not think you're part of this statistic, but pull up your screen time and check. You might be. You found me, right? Where did you find me? Probably Instagram. What were you doing on Instagram? Probably scrolling. Okay? Let me ask you guys a question. Okay, and this one's going to be more interactive. How much would you pay for your favorite social media platform per month? Would you pay £2 per month for your favorite social media platform? Tanya wouldn't. David, would you pay £2 per month for... What's your favorite platform, David?
I'd say Instagram. You would pay £2 or more nearly, I'd say.
Okay. Would you pay £5 for Instagram per month?
So you would, yeah.
£5. Fine. So this is the real cost of Instagram. You'd pay £5, but it sounds like that's a maximum for enjoyment, right? The real cost of it, let's say you value your time at £20 per hour. The average person spends 2 hours per day on Instagram, times 30 days. The average person is paying £1,200 monthly. You said the max you'd pay is £5 per month. So that's what we're really paying. Most of us are drastically overpaying for social media. Tanya, even if you said you'd pay £1 a month for social media, you're probably paying a lot more than you think. We all are. So off this, I want you to figure out what it means for you to get a good deal out of social media. There's a really good TED talk on this. It's called The Battle for Your Time, Exposing the Cost of Social Media. Like, if you're someone who catches yourself scrolling sometimes and it feels bad after, this is a really, really sick TED talk. And it's going to amplify what I've told you and how much we're actually all paying for social media. But the solution that I've found has really helped me, because I am open to the fact that I'm probably part of the statistic. There's an app called Opal. It's a free app. You get it off App Store, Android, whatever. And it creates enough friction to prevent the doom scrolling. You can get a paid version which locks you out of the apps, but I don't feel like that's as powerful as the small bit of friction it gives you just to make you feel a little bit bad about using it. I've got the free version. I prefer it. I feel like if you completely lock yourself out of it with the paid version, you're going to want it more. So this, I found, gives the perfect balance of it. My screen time is down, my productivity is up, and it's been transformative. And shout out to Jakob, who's one of my clients in this program, and he recommended to use it. So get on Opal, guys, if you're spending too much time on social media and you don't like the deal you've currently got with it in terms of how much you would pay versus how much you're actually paying for it. All right, guys, that is the productivity routine. So it's the to-do list, Google Calendar. Use that as your primary calendar. It's really sick. Use it for work. Use it for personal stuff. And then Opal for ensuring that you're spending time how you actually want to spend it and you're not wasting 90% of your free time, like most people, scrolling rather than living and doing stuff on your bucket list. And these tools and these approaches, this is my current routine to be as locked in as possible. Every day, smashing through the to-do list, signing loads of you guys up, and ultimately crushing my goals.